other faces. It's good to be with you. Thank you, Lori, for that generous introduction. Lori called me and said, "Hey, I've got an opportunity for you to share with the group. Are you available?" I said, "Yes, I would love a chance." The reason I'm so excited about sharing with you today is this is brand new information. I typically come up with a new deck every year. I present often at SHRM conferences, Vistage groups. I present often at C12 groups and some corporate events. And this data that I'm going to be sharing with you today, you are the very first people to see this newly curated content. So buckle up. This is your day. And I expect lots of feedback and I expect a lot of fun. We're going to ask a lot of great questions at the top. And at the end, there's a pop quiz and we will answer all the questions. And at the very, very end, you'll have a chance to stump me. So maybe you can put on your thinking hat and think of the most challenging recruitment advertising challenges that you or your clients might have a need for. So I also welcome lots of questions, Q&A. Lori and I strategized about how to best utilize our time today. And rather than separating out into smaller groups, I thought best to keep the group together because what I have to share will be very real time. So putting me in the hot seat, challenging me with hard questions, I will thrive in that particular space. So when you think about recruitment advertising, what do you think about when we talk about, just recruiting in general? Just to set the table a little bit, I'm going to have about 25 minutes of content, but in course of conversating about that, if you have questions, feel free to interject. Lori's going to monitor the chat. But then at the end, I'll open it up and we'll do a live screen and I'll actually show you. I also have a giveaway at the end of our call. Everybody on today's meeting is going to get a free Hiring Insights report, either that they can use themselves or you can give it away to somebody else. This will become actually a blueprint for how to find anyone, anywhere, for any job title that you might be looking for. And it'll be kind of a holy grail. And I think you'll find a lot of use for it in your consulting, in your business practice, should you need to walk in the door. So let me start here at the beginning and I'll share my screen and share with you a little bit more about us. Lori, tell me if this works all right for us. Let me hear it. Share screen. Here we go. Share screen. And tell me if everybody can see this deck. I have 3 screens on my computer.
We don't see it
only
yet.
gonna I'm only going to share one of my screens and I'm not going to go full screen on you. So you'll see the small slides going down the side. Some of you might go on, why can't you just make it full screen? But this will work best for our presentation today. Just real quickly on the behind the scenes, I will share with you that as we move through this content, please, again, don't hesitate to put something in the notes. Lori can pipe in and chime in if there's something that you guys want to ask right away. Today, just from an introduction, I own a recruitment advertising agency, and we make the tools that make recruitment advertising work better for our clients at no added cost. So one of the first things I tell my clients out of the gate is put your checkbook away. There's no added cost to leverage our services as a recruitment advertising agency. But today we're going to talk about how do we find that talent. We're going to talk about it from a couple of different perspectives, 2 in particular. We're going to talk about it from recruitment perspectives from a candidate's side of the fence, and we're going to talk about it from an employer side of the fence, and we're going to focus on recruitment advertising. So when you think about recruitment advertising, I hope you think in your mind, you think about Indeed, LinkedIn, Glassdoor, maybe old tools like Dice.com, Monster.com, CareerBuilder.com. And we're going to ask some questions at the top of our presentation today. And we're going to answer all these questions in the course of our content that I'm sharing with you today. First question out of the gate, what should be your number 1 source for recruiting talent? You got that answer in your head? Second, how important is mobile optimization in my company's recruitment advertising strategy? Next, discovering how to best advertise your jobs to gain page 1, search 1 results. Today, definitely, in today's day and age, recruiting is a number 1 topic on people's radars and things that they're frustrated about. Next question, learning what compensation is best to offer depending upon your job title. We're going to answer that today. Next, creating a recruiting message and a job title that will attract the right candidates. We're also going to ask, does our recruitment message reflect our company's culture? And is that really important? And how do I know what platforms to advertise on with so many available options? And the final question is, how do I choose and negotiate the best advertising options for maximum return on investment? So why do we recruit? Sounds like a loaded question, doesn't it? Because recruiting changes people's lives. It's the number one source of business impact today. We all have got jobs, which are all trying to earn income, and acquiring the talent is the most important key to growth. Hiring was and still is the most important thing we do, according to Mark, CEO, Salesforce.com. So the first candidate's perspective is what we're going to talk about. Let's look at some questions. Are good candidates, from a candidate, are good candidates that are currently employed, even searching for jobs? How would you answer that? If you're recruiting for an HVAC technician, maybe a staff accountant, maybe a CDL truck driver, are they searching for jobs? Will your employee turn off their job alerts now that they work for you? Think about that. Most of us are entrepreneurs or solopreneurs here on this call, but your clients that you serve are hiring people. And when candidates get hired at their companies, how did they get there? And if they got there by virtue of recruitment advertising, did they turn off that job alert that notified them of that job? Next question is, where do candidates go to start their job search? That's a really good question. I easily ask it in a different way. If you were looking for HVAC technicians, and I would ask you, where do you think we should look for HVAC technicians? Well, why don't we look where HVAC technicians are looking for those jobs? We're going to talk more about that in just a second. Finally, we're going to talk about what attracts good candidates today. So here is an epiphany that you may or may not know with some numbers. 91% of job seekers say that they search for jobs at least a few times a year. Did you know that? Did you look for jobs? 67% of job seekers say that they search for jobs at least a few times a month. Wow. That means if we were employees, 2/3 of our constituent base would be looking at jobs a few times a month. Only 9% of job seekers say that they never search for jobs. So the job search is always on, and a vast majority of them are currently employed. The old adage of the old headhunter days, search firms and headhunters. And by the way, those companies are our clients as well. We help them purchase LinkedIn. We help them use Indeed. We help them utilize Glassdoor in their recruitment, headhunting, search firm, staffing practices, in addition to other corporations. But visiting online job search sites is the number one activity for people hired. Second to employee referrals, your number one source to access job talent to potentially come work for you is a job board. 92% of employed adults have hired within the past year took action to find jobs in the past 6 months prior being hired utilizing a job board. 61% visited and looked for jobs online at job sites. 50% of those candidates are using a mobile device in their job search. Here's an actual example of job search, and here's how it's changed in the marketplace today. How do most candidates look for jobs? If you don't have an employee referral, what do candidates do these days? How do people look for jobs? We found that there's a very interesting thing. It's kind of by job title and or industry, but also the behavior of what their go-to A play in is coming out of the gate. Something very interesting happens in that strata at the age 40 or above or 40 below. The age 40 and above people, we were kind of indoctrinated, and it's changing over time that we utilize job boards, but candidates today are more interestingly now just typing in cook jobs near me in the Google search bar, or CDL truck driver jobs near me, or nurse jobs near me in the Google bar. I don't know if you've done a job search lately, but these are the kind of search results that come up, and you want to be an employer of choice when those jobs come up, and you would ideally like to be on page one. And we're going to talk about how to do that in just a minute. These are the different recruitment options and the different insights. Again, second to employee referrals, Job boards still are your number one source to connect to talent. So you tell me, of these logos on my screen, are you familiar with all of them? Have you looked at any of them recently? Do any of them strike you as ones that you've actually searched, or maybe you've posted jobs, or maybe your clients have been posting jobs on these sites? And what's been their results? Have they had positive or negative results? Anyway, um, again, if any of you guys have questions, want to pause, feel free to put that in the chat. Don't hesitate to do that. If you got some questions towards the end,
I have a
don't hesitate.
question.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Some of these that you're listing, like Monster, Dice, Career Arc, are they still like viable options?
Danielle, I love that you asked that question. You just nailed it. I just love that. The answer is they are dwindling. I actually have at the end of this report, their lackluster results are very much dwindling. I mean, I remember I was at the meeting in Baltimore, Maryland when Monster rolled out 25 years ago. Their offering. And I thought, who would ever go to a job board site called monster.com? That's ridiculous. And now here we have Indeed on deck, which is the 8 times larger than any of its competitors, and Monster is way down on the list. And I can actually, at the end of our call, I can show you where Monster ranks in terms of all job boards nationwide. But lackluster results. Not really big fan. And I would say only about 2% of all of our clients leverage Monster. But I do have contracts of clients that ask us to buy this source for them. The biggest ones obviously are Indeed, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. And I actually have a report that I can show you at the end of this of what their market share is worldwide, nationwide.
Right. I'm
You'll
hiring
find
for 2 positions, so this is helpful.
Good. Let's keep running through this. So Indeed is still the number one source of offers and hires. Indeed versus the competition. I am vendor neutral. I am industry agnostic. I don't care what we use for my clients. I just want to use what works. I do have some strong opinions about knowing what works because I spend millions and millions of dollars of other people's monies, and I see what actually does net the results. And back to these logos, some of these logos would be better for some jobs over other jobs. For example, dice.com. If you were looking for high security clearance people with top secret clearance experience with an IT background, you'd probably want to leverage dice.com, but I wouldn't rule out indeed.com as well. We could talk more about that a little bit later. But back to the Indeed is delivering 12 times more hires than ZipRecruiter. Indeed delivers 10 times more hires than Facebook. Indeed delivers 9 times more hires than LinkedIn. Indeed delivers 9 times more hires than Google. It delivers 2.2 more hires than any other job sites combined. Indeed actually owns Glassdoor, and Indeed and Glassdoor together are owned by a company called Recruitix out of Asia. When Indeed first started back in 2009, before they monetized their product, we were an agency partner of theirs. We are one of the only 20 channel partners on LinkedIn as a reseller for those products. So, and who owns LinkedIn? You guessed it, Microsoft. And why do they have ChatGPT built in their AI in LinkedIn? Because they were using it literally 7 years ago. So AI is also an up and coming player. And will tell you that just 3 weeks ago, Indeed just rolled out chat and AI in their recruitment platform on Resume. And they're charging 25% more. The price went from $300 to $400 for Resume Access. His landscape is changing quite radically. Let's keep moving through the content. Candidates are expecting to apply for jobs directly on mobile devices. 70% of applicants submitted at least on Indeed are mobile devices. 70% of applications submitted on Indeed are from mobile devices. 94% of job seekers use mobile devices in their job search. Think about an HVAC technician rolling down the road, going to his next appointment. What's he or she doing on their mobile device at McDonald's sipping on a Coke? They're looking on Indeed for their next HVAC service tech job. CDL truck drivers as well. Surprisingly, nurses as well. I could go on and on about this, but we have data now to support what I'm sharing with you. I'm going to show you the answer to these questions, not with an opinion, but with real facts, straight from the horse's mouth. Let's keep moving. Let's talk about this idea of candidates in terms of what matters most to talent today. Back in the day when I think, I'm 55 years old here. I think when I'm back in the day, money was a big talker. Today, the culture's changed. Candidates have changed. What matters most to employees? Culture matters and values matter at 22%. Senior leadership matters. Career opportunities for upward growth, projecting upward mobility. I have 3 adult grown sons, and for at least the 2 oldest boys, they were turning down interviews or turning down job opportunities because they didn't like the culture, they didn't like the leadership, they didn't project a brand that my sons wanted to work for, and the candidates are becoming increasingly more that way. It trumps money. They'll take a pay cut for a company that projects a better brand and a better value, something that they can believe in and sink their teeth into. 65% say culture trumps cash on millennials, considering culture before salary when it comes to job satisfaction. Here's another one. Nearly 3 in 4 adults would not apply to a company unless its values aligned with their personal values. Engaged talent says 7 in 10 employees say that they would look for a job elsewhere if their workplace's culture weakens. So my next question, if culture is so important, how well do you or your employers or your clients that you talk to as your customers every day think about projecting their mission, their vision, their values, their culture? It is important, and it is doubled down important now. You better do a good job because it's more than just about money these days. But let's look at and pivot a little bit. Now that we know where candidates are coming from, and take a look at it from a company viewpoint. What do I need to do in order for candidates to find me? Now we're going to actually talk about, we're recruiting, Danielle, right? We're trying to find talent. What are we going to be able to do here? It's still a struggle. You see restaurants are shortening their hours. Chick-fil-A's got people, McDonald's is looking for talent. You've got truck drivers, you've got construction companies, the trades are desperate to find talent. Everybody is saying, how do I find candidates? Employee referrals are the number one source for finding talent. You better, as a company, have a good employee referral program that's respectable, that's compensating people well. Good employees often make a habit of surrounding themselves with other highly capable professionals. 88% of employers rate employee referrals as the best return on investment for sourcing talent. So your top recruiters should be your employees. Now, when that runs out, what's your second most cost-effective way to recruit? I'm going to contend that it's job board advertising. Done well, done properly, and we'll talk about what the ingredients are that makes that happen. Pivoting real quickly into employer branding, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but attracting and retaining candidates is what that means through a strong corporate image and how your company tells its story through content and messaging.
Jason?
And I'll show you a way at the end of this call how we can take a company and see how they project their corporate brand to be able to evaluate that as we walk through this. Creating your corporate brand is essential. 84% of job seekers say that the reputation of a company is important when they are searching for jobs. Companies today need to have a positive company review from employees. They need to be telling their story through videos and graphics. This seems to be a really missing ingredient. It's so easy now. And I'll show you a couple of examples at the end of our call if you want me to show you some companies that are doing a good job on this. Companies need to differentiate themselves from the competition. They need to also know who the competition is. Job seekers, they trust the employee voice. 84% of job seekers are likely to research company reviews and ratings when deciding where to apply for a job. So the more a candidate sees a company's brand over time, the more likely they are to apply. So you can do a lot for yourself to continue to talk about your brand on social media, talk about your brand on your website, talk about your brand at many different places and ways. How do you talk about your brand on the job boards? Here's 3 different levels on Indeed.com. All things are not equal on Indeed. All things are not equal on LinkedIn. There are actually 4 different levels on Indeed of how to present your value prop. Whenever you actually project your jobs, either through an applicant tracking system, be it Paycom, Paychex, ADP, or you actually manually post your jobs up on Indeed, you're going to get what looks like above this example at the top. It's going to create for you a free Indeed page, and you're going to have the ability to sponsor your jobs or just take the organic exposure that they offer you. Or finally, You may or may not even do the added work to be able to brand your company. But this is the basic, and this is what you get for free on Indeed. Now, if you want to take it one step beyond, still for free, you could by yourself or use us to help you build out your brand. And there's some real key factors of places where to fill in the blanks on Indeed.com. Here's an example. This company is a Thompson Family Services, a social services companies based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And we've got their snapshot built out. We got their Why Join Us built out. There's 10 sections under Why Join Us that you could either put pictures, pictures with content, or video content. My recommendations when you build that thing out, you need to have mission, vision, values, culture. You need to have 2 or 3 testimonials, and ideally video content is about 30, yes, I said 30 to 40 times more powerful than just a static image. So again, I encourage my clients, if they're at this level, okay, step it up on Indeed and make it better. Here's the final thing. And if you want to take it to the highest level, you'll actually take what you can do to make better and make it the best. This is called Employer Branding Hub on Indeed.com. If you don't know about it, you should. And you should be able to, if you really want to climb the ladder and be first out of the gate and project a brand that candidates want to work for, you might consider Employer Branding Hub. I do this with private equity, venture capital companies that have a new company, new product, or a new service. And out of the gate, they need to hire a whole slew of talent because they're doing a roll-up for the security industry. They're doing a roll-up for the landscape architectural industry. I got a lot of clients that do this. And right out of the gate, we just buy the Employer Branding Hub and project a bigger than life brand so that candidates hear us, see us, respect us, and know that we want to project a brand of choice that they might want to come work for. And by doing so, the Employer Branding Hub is just the highest level of branding that exists on Indeed. They sell this product in t-shirt sizes. So small, medium, large, extra large, jumbo. The base price for this Employer Branding Hub on Indeed, they just raised it from $3,750 for an annual purchase. So that's just under $300 a month. They raised it to $4,500. So just give you a data point for what this pricing looks like.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, come on.
Sorry, I have a question. With this branding, have you really seen that make a big difference on Indeed?
After you have the right amount of right job description, right recruitment narrative, right compensation, and you've spent the money to elevate your brand to be the best it can be, if you're not getting the kind of traction that you need with the kind of quality talent you need, I highly recommend the next level is the Employer Branding Hub. But I would do the other things first.
Yeah, I have a good brand, but I don't think we've ever done the branding hub on Indeed.
So we could talk more about that. We can look at that maybe at the end of the slide deck. We can look at that together. How you leverage your corporate image should really extend across all your recruitment platforms: social media, company website, email signature, applicant tracking systems, job boards. You really need it. This company is called Eckerd Connects. They're a nationwide company. Anybody ever went to the drugstore and you were little called Eckerd Drugstore? Mr. and Mrs. Eckerd, actually, Mr. and Mrs. Eckerd, they started this company called Eckerd Connects, a social services company. They also own a management company that manages a lot of Job Corps facilities. I know because this is my client. We help them build out their brand on all the platforms. And it's made a big difference, Danielle, in terms of how candidates see them and potentially want to respect the opportunity to go to work for them. And they're an employer of choice amongst the job titles that they actually advertise on. But this is across a lot of the different platforms. I would even go so far as to put my employer brand and list my job opportunities in my email signature, maybe on the back of buses, on the back of trucks, on billboards, just anywhere and everywhere, your Facebook page, your LinkedIn page. Project everything you can to be the employer of choice relative to where talent might be looking. All right, let's keep moving. We're almost to the end. Job optimization is really, really key. I could have spent this whole time on this one single slide. So there's too much here to talk about, but this is your ingredients. If you write these down, these are the 5 things that you need to think about when you write and place advertising on job boards. Number 1, your job title is the first thing we want to talk about. What is the right job title to attract the most quantity and quality talent exactly of what you're looking for? It's not HVAC ninja extraordinaire, go make it happen. It's just HVAC talent or HVAC service technician. There's a right job title and there's a wrong job title. All the superlatives do not help you. They actually hurt you and how the algorithms work. The next thing I want to talk about is your recruitment message. Probably over 50% of corporate America does a very, very bad thing in that they cut and paste a job description where the recruitment message is supposed to go. And they call that a recruitment message. Who would take a job description and paste it in where the recruitment message should go on a job board and think that that's going to do anything to get people excited about wanting to work there? They talk about company, position, requirements, and a bunch of other stuff to go fill out and go down some rabbit trail. That paradigm really needs to change, and they need to think about it. You can notice that each of these bullet points says job, 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 and I purposefully in red put recruitment message. You need to make a recruitment message that makes people want to come work for you. And too many companies never put the what's in it for me. If they do, it's buried at the bottom and it's not very well laid out. People need to rethink their recruitment messaging. Talk about a little bit about the company. The first thing the candidate wants to see is, how much money am I going to make? What kind of job opportunity going to have? What kind of upward mobility am I going to have? What's your culture like? And you better project that in visual, with video, and even with content. So really focusing on a recruitment message after you get the job title right is really key. And the other piece of this equation is this compensation piece. You've got to have a good compensation. I'm going to show you how much money you should be spending on any job position that you have. And I'm going to give that to you for free for everybody on this call today. And I'll show you how we're going to do it. Job application, it needs to be an easy apply. It doesn't need to be a hard process, and you don't need to create friction. If you've got friction in your apply process, candidates should see your job, click it, and they are applying. Not the kiss of death to a company is to click on the job, then it says, go to company website and apply online and have to fill out a bunch of blanks. I hope that's not you as an employer and it's not your client, because this is the kiss of death to recruitment. And candidates are just not going to, candidates aren't going to do it, and companies aren't going to use it. They're not going to get the results that they need. The next item is this job sponsorship. Indeed will take all jobs and organically give you free exposure, but it's not going to give you the quantity and quality that you need. We have a crystal ball that we can look behind the scenes and actually see what your organic exposure is compared to your sponsored job exposure. And I'm telling you, if you're a company and you don't spend any money on Indeed and you say, well, I get my jobs on there for free and it works for me, you are one in a million, because organic exposure typically doesn't get it done. You have to have an elevated spend based on the competition of other people. And all money does for you on Indeed is elevate your job to a higher ranking at that particular moment in time. That's all money does on these job boards. And pretty much everybody has adopted the business model that Indeed has to offer. Final thing is job analytics. Us as an ad agency, we inspect every single dollar a client spends, and we like to inspect what we expect. So we don't spend money without following up and say, what was our ROI for that spend? So if we spent $500, we want to know how many clicks we got, how many impressions we got, how many applies we got, how many quality applies we got, and did it meet our objectives? And if we can need more talent, we'll discuss the idea of turning up or turning down, but there's no long-term spend with us. There's no long-term commitment. It's every single job, every single unique situation that we would look into. Next, this is the gift I want to give to everybody today. Take a close look at this Hiring Insights report. This, we are happy on our website. If you would like a free Hiring Insights, pick a job. Maybe you have a client that's recruiting for forklift drivers. Maybe they're recruiting for cooks at a restaurant. Maybe they're recruiting for behavioral health therapists. I don't know. Maybe a new accountant. You can give us that job title, and with that information, we can help you with helping you find out what your competition score is for that particular position. So this one I did for nurses, and nurses are very hard to find. There are 1,124 nurses in Charlotte to jobs right now, 13,000. If you give me the opportunity to help you, I can guarantee you will have access to 13,836 nurses. Job seekers per job, that's 12. That's tight, not a lot. And you look at 65% of these nurses are looking for candidates on a mobile device. Average compensation for nurses is $39. So you better not be $1 below as a nurse compensation window. And I would recommend that you probably compensate your window nursing in your job ad between $40 and probably $70 an hour, commensurate to experience for a nurse. I mean, look, this is average, but I've got nonprofits that actually need a nurse to work in their Job Corps facility for $28, $32 an hour. How do I help a nonprofit? That's a loaded question. We did it, by the way, in Candor, North Carolina, for that company I just showed you, Eckerd Connects. So we could talk more about that in just a few seconds. And it had to do a little bit with branding and a testimony and a video. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Keep going. There are 177 employers in the last 60 days that are also looking for nurses in Charlotte. And by search terms, these are the proper search terms that you need to be thinking about to optimize and embed your ads with these keywords. The old school of thought used to be 3 times you need to mention nurse in your job. Now you need to embed it 5 times. That's the new standard for the algorithm to work best to give you the best organic exposure. And finally, who are the top employers that are also competing for nurses in Charlotte? Here they are: Novant Health, Atrium Health, Vision Health, Piedmont Plastic Surgery, Baeta Home and Healthcare, Caramount, ECPI Security. So here you see who the competition is, and you better go look at their recruitment messaging so that you've got a good gander as to what they're doing, so you can compare it to what you're doing to make sure that you can do it even better. Okay, fair? All right, we're wrapping up here towards the end. Let's see here. Your employee value proposition is a unique value that you offer as an employer to your employees. What is your EVP at your company? Or what is it at your client's company? You should talk about recruiting with these kinds of acronyms. A strong EVP attracts and engages and retains top talent and sets you apart as an employer of choice. So your employee value proposition is your salary, your benefits, your work-life balance, your mission, vision, values, your leadership, your career development, all that stuff packaged together creates what we call an EVP, why a candidate might want to come work for you. So give that some thought as to what your EVP is and how are you going to project that. And then when you've got that together, the final thing you need to think about is, how much money do I need to spend on Indeed to get my job to be at the proper place, to get the quantity of candidates at the top of the funnel so that I've got enough prospects to potentially make a hire. And here's where how much to spend, you can lean on us to be able to get that answer. And it draws right back to what is the labor pressure for your position. So when you take a look back on this nurse position, look at the nurse position. 73 out of 100. It's red. Look at the number. How much should I be spending? The minimum you should spend is a $500. Because this number is a 75, 73, we would say that you probably should be spending $500 at 50%. If the labor pressure is 75%, we'd recommend a budget of $750 to $1,000. If the number was 90% or higher, in order to get page 1, if there were 12 pages of ads, 10 ads per page for nurses, rarely do candidates go past page 3 in their job search. So if you want to be on page 3 or above, you better be spending $1,000 on that job ad for a 1 month period. That will get you placement, and we can prove it by showing you the data, not an emotional decision. You don't have to buy smoke and mirrors. You can actually use the hiring insights to prove the data. All right, let me see here if I've got any other slides. These are the job analytics that we show to our clients. Here's the prove it to me statement. This is the real spend. This is the real data. This particular client has a $4,000 a month spend, and here's what we show them after they spend money. Well, for this accounting clerk position in Matthews, for this position on their $4,000 budget, at this point in time, we had spent $2,872. We know that that portion of money for the $117 of the 4K, it generated 660 impressions, 62 clicks, 21 starts, and 11 applies. No organic applies on this position, by the way. That's powerful. In other words, if you'd have spent no money, you'd have gotten donut. That happens for a lot of our clients. Lead nurse, we actually had a separate campaign working for them. They got 1,300 impressions, 136 clicks. Very hard to find nurses. We generated 27 starts, but only 18 applied. Why do you think that a candidate might have clicked on it to start applying Then after they read the job ad, maybe they got lackluster results and didn't finish the apply process. Any thoughts? Think
Maybe it
about
was
that.
too complicated.
Too complicated. Maybe it wasn't enough money. Maybe it was per required need. Maybe it was part-time. A lot of variations to that. Great thoughts on that. All right, we're winding up here. Let's find out what we learned today, and then let's get to some Q&A. Recruiting insights. What did we learn? What should be your number one source of recruiting? What's the answer? Shout it out.
Culture.
Who is it?
Culture. Culture.
Culture is important, but what should be your number one source for recruiting?
Indeed.
Employee referral program.
Great job. Employee referral program. Excellent. And then if you don't have enough employee referrals, or when that does drain out, what's the second most cost-effective way to reach talent?
Hire you.
Okay. We can help. Remember, no added cost to use us. I'm free. I'm just going to help you figure out the solution. And then if you want to spend some money, when you spend money, I'll make a commission from Indeed or LinkedIn or Glassdoor. I'll put all of your money to work. And if you use me, you will get 3, 5, up to 10 times better ROI because everything that you just learned. Do you realize now in your time, in the last 40 minutes that you've been on the call, that you know more than about 500 people in the room on the topic of recruiting? Seriously, this data that you now know puts you in a position of, you know, way more about how these job boards work than anybody else in the room. Next question. How important is mobile optimization in your company's recruitment strategy?
Very.
It's very important. We'll tell you how many candidates are looking on their mobile device. Can I influence if my job will appear to job seekers at the top of the job search results or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. By spending money, what does money do? It just moves your job closer to the top. Next question. Can I really know what compensation to offer to beat out my competition for talent when I post my jobs?
Yes.
Yes. Ask me. Say, Jason, for this job title, for nurse, what should I be paying them? What's the average? And then you'll know where to be able to compensate relative to your job title. Excellent. Let's keep going. Can I know what the job advertisement and job title should look like that will attract the best people? Can I know?
Yeah.
Yes. You can optimize your ad copy. We talked about the 5 things: job title, recruitment message, compensation, and then sponsoring the job. Absolutely. Next. Does my recruitment message reflect our company culture? And why is that important?
Because people choose culture over money.
Come on, preach. You got this. And with so many options, how do I choose and negotiate the best recruitment platform specific to my job openings? How do I figure that out?
Ask you.
There you go. Now we're working. We're cooking with gas. How do I get a hold of the hiring insights for my jobs?
We get a free one from you.
That's right. It looks like this. On my website, it says, find more candidates, get better results, utilize, and just click on this button where it says, get your report on my website at
Which is
Bessire.com. What?
Okay, what is your website? Because it doesn't show up here.
You're right. You're right. It's just my name, Bessire.com. We'll get there in just a minute. Right here it is, Bessire.com, Bessire.com. And we'll actually just visit there real quickly so you can kind of see what I'm talking about real quickly on the website. Let's see here. Here it is right here. If you go to Bessire.com and you go to our website, you scroll down, you can schedule a call if you want to get in touch with me on our website. Right here is where you can click on this button to get your free hiring insights report. If you click on that, it'll take you down here to a form. Just put your name, put your job that you're looking for. If you can upload a job description, that would be very, very helpful to us. And if you really want to dive into this topic more, I'm pretty prolific on YouTube. I do have a lot of content. I do speak at a lot of different variations and places and organizations. And you can actually look at some of this other content on these videos. There's some longer presentations of places that I've spoke at. But if you take a look at these videos, they have a lot of other information on programmatic plays, other insights. And I do them from crazy places around the world just to be a little bit different, including the BMW track, scuba diving, snowmobiling, and some other crazy places that I go just to be a little bit off the wall. All right, that's enough for me. You guys have been patient. What kind of questions do you have for me? I'd love if you guys have questions. Thoughts?
Steve, go ahead.
So you get paid by the service that we use. I have a concrete cement contractor that is looking to hire a project manager and an assistant project manager. And they're doing the normal standard, Indeed and the usual sites, right? The usual suspects, LinkedIn. Would they just go to you and you don't charge them any fee to do it? Everything's done on the back end?
Let's do a 90-second tutorial real quick, real super fast. All right. Let's go do it together right now. And and everybody can get the benefit of how we would do this. Let's come back to my website. Let's go over here to indeed.com. Can you see my screen?
Nope.
Nope.
Now you can, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Concrete. What's the position called?
A project manager.
Project manager. There it is. And what city?
Fairfield, New Jersey. One word, Fairfield, New Jersey. Down, there it is.
So in Fairfield, New Jersey, a project manager, it's there. Hold on.
Yeah, gotta be there.
We do sales and then we patch in Fairfield, New Jersey. There we go. There we go. Come on, baby. You can do it. Atta boy. Project manager jobs in Fairfield, New Jersey. Competition scores 36. Might get away with as little as $500. We're competing against 833 jobs. We have access to 36,000 job seekers. This is a little high, don't you think, for project manager, or is it not?
No, it's about right here in the Northeast. It's a little high, maybe 20 grand high.
Yeah. So this way, maybe more specific might be construction project manager. Or
Yeah, construction, do construction.
Yeah.
Project
So construction project manager. And I know it's in Fairfield. We'll see if we can get construction project manager there. There we go. Look at this. So not really competitive for construction project manager. We've got
Right.
access to 13,680 candidates. So we know, but we're competing against 279 jobs.
Wow.
And it wasn't enough data to pull out average salary, but we can back this off and just do New Jersey as a whole. And if we do that, we know that we'll come up with at least enough data to give us some compensation numbers. So let's see what construction project managers are earning. $86,000. So at least gives us a data point to at least start with. I just did a construction manager, project manager. I do a lot in the construction industry. Here's one a director of finance that I did for in New Hampshire. Here's a construction project manager that I actually did, just finished it 2 weeks ago in the construction industry of all places. Look at this. I just finished this project for this client March 1st. It's 3 weeks ago. Mark Johnson up in Bloomington, Illinois. We ran and found him 242 candidates. We pared it down and screened about 63 out of 63. We found 58 candidates that made the cut. 33 candidates made it to the final project. He interviewed 16, and he just notified us that he hired from this talent pool that you see right here
Right.
on my screen. This was the
Cool.
optimized recruitment
Jason,
messaging. Yeah.
if you don't mind, we have other questions, so I'd like to move on to other questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, come on.
Jen?
Yeah, so my question is sort of two-part, and I'm not even sure this is the right place. So I know that when my son was graduating school in 22, he was going through LinkedIn and Indeed, mostly LinkedIn for what he was looking for. And I realized that he was not sending cover letters. Now, most of of us are of an age where cover letter was a thing. Why is this no longer a thing?
There's a huge shift.
I'm happy about that, but
Yeah.
and if somebody older, like in our age group, was out searching, would it be expected?
Yeah. Cover letters are going by the wayside, but
Thank
when I
God.
say going by the wayside, but still crafting an intro email, be it cover or an intro email, focusing on your competencies and skill sets, matching it specifically to your job opportunity is still an important thing to do. So whether you call that a cover or just an intro email, you're going to notice now for the next duration of our time and living on this planet, AI is going to take that role. You will get real-time interviews. I already have products in my bag that actually I sell to restaurants. The product is called Charlie. And I actually interview cooks, servers, bartenders real time and give them a real interview actually on the phone. That's how crazy AI is coming into play. So there's no need for a cover. You could apply via text now for all these hourly positions that we're seeing coast to coast. And I predict in the next 12 months, everything that I'm talking to you about will be totally changed. Invite me in 12 months back to this forum. You will see a totally different deck. I could show you my last year's deck. It's totally different than this one. It's changing so fast. Buckle up. But cover letters, a good cover email is still appropriate. So
Thanks. Dan?
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just curious as far as the culture piece and conveying that. I know that, years ago, there was this trend towards culture deck, to have that out there that people would reference. This is going back so many years. I'm probably dating myself, but I know that right now, a lot of business owners that I talk to, we talk about conveying their company values through stories, like real life examples of how they use their values as a tool for their internal team. And I'm wondering if that also could be a tool to convey the values and culture of the company, or if there's some better way to do that.
no, I still say that video and story trumps anything and everything. And so I really invite all my clients that I consult with to think about how they're conveying their mission, vision, values, culture, and get video content up on their Indeed page. And that's one of the key factors that we bring to bear when we start consulting with clients about their employee brand. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be well produced. You've got an iPhone, just use your phone to talk as an employer and talk about what is your mission and vision? And then let your other person talk about values, culture. And then maybe, your warehouse manager can talk about the kind of forklift driver people that he wants to hire. Or what is the culture of the nursing culture that you want to have at your nonprofit? But get something together versus nothing. It's too inexpensive and it's too powerful to not project your culture. Candidates are turning down higher paying jobs for a company that better matches their culture.
Thank you.
Wonderful. That was awesome. I know I got a lot out of it. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. So very grateful for Jason to come and speak to us today. The sign up form is in the chats. Please do not leave without signing it. And does anybody have any events or books or anything that they would like to promote to the H7 community? Now's your time.
Friday, 10 o'clock, New York City. Log in. Join us.
And then Thursday, 4 o'clock is H7 Canada, which is for Canadians and people who want to do business in Canada and Canadians who want to do business in the US. So if you're available at 4 EST, which is like in an hour from now, I'd love to see you. Let me see who's on the roster for next week before we go. And next week we have Jill Lubin, and she's speaking on guerrilla publicity. So she does PR, and she's a Spitfire. So yeah, she's great to come. So make sure you come and see her. Ruben.
Next week, Andy Winnig, the elevator pitch coach, and I are going to be doing a free workshop on getting clear messaging. So if anyone wants to join, I'm happy to throw a Zoom link in the chat.
Cool. All right. So if nobody has any other comments or questions, we'll say thank you very much to Jason, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Thanks, Jason. Oh, he's gone. Thanks, Lori. Well done.
Thanks. Big hugs. Bye.
Hey, by the way, real quick, any chance I can get this recording if I just cut out a couple of screens of it I want to show to one of my clients?
Yeah, I recorded it, so I will send you the full recording, and then you can just do what you want with
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'll cut out the questions and the personal stuff, but I just wanted to be able to show this. I literally have, like I got to help these people. They need these 2 positions filled like yesterday.
Cool.
So
Well, they have a little tool to play with.
Yeah, and I reached out to him already on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
good. Cool.
Right.
April 18th.
April 18th.
It's a Thursday evening.
What about April 18th, Thursday evening?
I'm gonna be in New York.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to be in New York.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. April 18th, that's a Thursday. And no, just that one day.
Well, I'm there till the 21st, so if you can't
Oh,
make it on
good.
the 18th, I can see you another time, like we can have lunch on Friday or something like that. I'm there
Yeah, I
till
was
the
gonna
21st.
say, I actually have an event that I already paid $200 for to be at.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm stuck, but Friday you said the 19th?
Yeah, and like I say, we'll just get in touch before then. I'm around, I'm staying with Jen. And I don't know what my
Yeah,
plans are here.
absolutely. Right. Yeah, I can meet you in New York City. What time?
I don't know, I have to let you know closer to the date.
I'm just gonna put from like 5 o'clock till whenever to make a
Okay.
note. See, Lori. Carpenter, NYC.
Yeah, maybe we'll do like coffee in the afternoon or something like that. So,
Yeah, the afternoon, getting in and out of the city, like if I go in around 10, 11
yeah,
and get out before 3, no
Yeah.
problem. If I go in
Okay.
any earlier or leave any later, I'm
no,
screwed.
I know, no, but that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah, so I'll put it like noonish, I
Sure.
figure.
Perfect.
If it changes, it changes, no worries.
Okay.
All right, cool. Looking forward to it. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
me too, me too.
Very excited.
All right, big hugs.
All right, love.
All
Kisses.
right, speak to
Take
you later.
care. Job today.
Thanks.